It always starts the same way. You tell yourself, I'll start in 5 minutes. But 5 minutes somehow becomes an hour, then a day. And before you know it, that task is still there, staring at you, silently accusing you of betrayal. You feel guilty, anxious, even a little angry at yourself. Yet tomorrow, you'll probably do it again. Why? Why do we keep doing this thing that makes absolutely no sense? Why does our brain choose guilt over relief, stress over progress, paralysis over peace? It turns out, procrastination isn't about being lazy. It's something far stranger, deeper, and more human than that. Let's step inside the mind of the procrastinator. In 1776, the American statesman Edward Young wrote, "Procrastination is the thief of time." But he was wrong about one thing. Procrastination doesn't just steal your time, it steals your peace of mind. Think about it. No one actually enjoys procrastinating. There's no thrill in letting work pile up until midnight, with your heart pounding and your eyes burning as the deadline closes in. We hate it, and yet, we keep doing it. Neuroscientists have finally begun to understand why. Inside your brain, two regions are constantly at war. The limbic system, the part that seeks comfort, pleasure, and instant gratification, and the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for planning, discipline, and long-term decision-making. When you decide to start a project, your prefrontal cortex says, let's do this now so we can relax later. But your limbic system whispers, relax now, we'll do it later. Guess which one usually wins? The limbic system. It's ancient, it's emotional, and it's incredibly powerful. It doesn't care about your long-term goals, it just wants you to feel good right now. So when you avoid writing that report, calling that client, or cleaning that room, you not being lazy, you're giving into a very old biological instinct, avoiding discomfort. There's a famous study that reveals just how deep this battle goes. Psychologists ask students to choose between getting $10 today or $15 in a week. Most people pick the $10, but when they offered $10 in a year or $15 in a year and a week, almost everyone chose the $15. Why? Because when the reward is in the distant future, our rational brain is in charge. But when it's right in front of us, the brain's wiring changes. That immediate reward just feels more real. This is called temporal discounting, our natural tendency to undervalue the future in favor of the present. In other words, we're not lazy, we're just biologically short-sighted. But there's another twist. Procrastination isn't only about seeking pleasure. Sometimes it's about avoiding pain. Imagine you have to write an important report for your boss. Before you even open the document, your mind fills with anxiety. What if it's not good enough? What if I mess it up? What if I don't even know where to start? Your brain, in an attempt to protect you from these unpleasant feelings, steers you away from the task altogether. That S-right, the very same system designed to keep you safe from physical danger, now keeps you safe from emotional discomfort. You procrastinate not because you don't care, but because you care too much. This is exactly why perfectionists are often the worst procrastinators. Their fear of imperfection becomes so paralyzing that it feels easier to avoid the task altogether than to face the possibility of not meeting their own impossible standards. There's a haunting story from the 1980s about a brilliant student at Stanford named James. He was at the top of his class, widely admired by everyone. But he had one fatal flaw: he couldn't finish anything on time. Assignments, essays, even birthday cards, everything was late. He always promised to do better, but he never did. Years later, when asked about it, he said something chilling. I didn't procrastinate because I was lazy. I procrastinated because finishing something meant I could be judged for it. His story isn't rare. For many of us, every unfinished project is a way of protecting ourselves from judgment, from failure, or even from success. Because once it's done, it's out there. People can see it, critique it, or even ignore it. But as long as it's unfinished, it's safe inside your imagination, perfect and untouched. Psychologists call this the procrastination guilt cycle. First, you delay the task to avoid feeling uncomfortable. Then, you feel guilt and shame for delaying it. That guilt makes you even more anxious about the task. So what do? You delay it again. The cycle tightens around you like a noose, and the longer it lasts, the more it erodes your self-trust. You stop believing your own promises. I'll start tomorrow. Becomes a lie you hear from yourself every single day. This isn't just mental torture, it's chemical. Each time you put off a task and do something fun instead, your brain releases a little hit of dopamine. You feel a small sense of pleasure, but that reward reinforces the habit. So the next time you're faced with something difficult, your brain remembers procrastination feels good, at least for a moment. And that's how it becomes addictive. But here's the strange hope hiding inside all this chaos. Procrastination is actually a sign that your brain is working properly. It's trying to protect you from stress, from fear, and from emotional pain. It's just overreacting. The real challenge then is not to fight procrastination, but to outsmart it. One of the most effective ways is the 5-minute rule. Just tell yourself you'll only work on the task for 5 minutes. That's it, just 5. Once you start, you'll find that your brain's resistance starts to melt away. Because it's not the work itself we hate, it's the starting. The moment you begin, the anxiety drops and momentum takes over. Another great method is called temptation bundling. This is where you combine something you have to do with something you want to do. Listen to your favorite podcast, but only while you're cleaning. Watch your favorite show, but only while you're on the treadmill. By pairing the pain with pleasure, you retrain your brain to associate effort with reward. And perhaps most importantly, forgive yourself for procrastinating. Studies show that self-compassion, not guilt, is what actually breaks the cycle. When you treat yourself with kindness after slipping up, you become less afraid of failure, and you are less likely to run away from it in the future. There's a famous story about Leonardo da Vinci. Yes, the genius behind the Mona Lisa. It took him 16 years to paint her. 16, he'd work for months, then stop, vanish into other projects, and then return years later. Historians now believe his procrastination wasn't laziness. It was a combination of perfectionism and creative fear. But that delay might have been his secret weapon. Each time he returned to the painting, he saw it with fresh eyes, refining it, deepening it, and ultimately perfecting it. Maybe that masks the strange beauty of procrastination. It was a reminder that the mind resists not what is meaningless, but what truly matters to us. So the next time you catch yourself delaying, don't just ask, why can't I start? Ask yourself this instead. What am I afraid will happen if I do? Because sometimes procrastination isn't a problem to be crushed. It's a message to be understood. A message that says, you care deeply about this, you just don't trust yourself yet. And maybe that's what we're really trying to overcome. Not time, not tasks, but the quiet, hidden war between who we are and who we're afraid we might not be good enough to become. Thanks so much for watching. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the human mind. See you next time.